Hey everybody, we're here, back and better than ever. Reality Skewed Gamers coming at you. It's Wednesday. It's time to talk some Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am Ranger J 1999 from Team Instinct, and joining me on this endeavor is the cast and crew that you know and love. We have Dr. Finn Medicine Woman checking the chat, checking to make sure that you trolls are staying in line because he can troll you better than any of us. And of course, joining me is, first of all, you know him, you love him. It's the Brown Gandalf himself, the great beerless one, the government's Wi-Fi stealer himself, who apparently is eating enchiladas, Mr. Grande Patron. What's up, buddy?
What up, dog? I am eating enchiladas, so if
That's
I
right.
mute and unmute, it's because I don't want to slurp in everybody's ear. They had some issues with the music. Are they able to hear the stream now?
Checking the chat.
We might just want to check that and see if they can hear you. They just didn't hear the intro music.
Oh, well, that's weird. I don't know what happened, guys. I checked it beforehand, and then it was working. So we always do a test to make sure it's working, but I don't know. Who knows? It could be.
That's a thing.
It could be a bunch of variety of things. But also joining us tonight is the lightsaber builder himself, Mr. Sir Loki. Sir Loki, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me again. Just rolling in from work, so trying to relax and have some fun on the show tonight.
That's right. We got a lot to talk about, so we're going to dig deep and dive into. I sound like dodgeball sudden. Duck, dodge, dodge, duck. We have a lot of stuff. All that stuff and a bag of potato chips.
Motivate. What?
Yeah,
we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something.
Drop, roll, cover.
Yep, duck roll and cover. We want to give a shout out to everybody who's in the stream.
Yes,
everybody that's in chat.
Yeah.
So we got Bimatsu.
The spin leader himself.
Lord Theos.
Oh, that's a new name. I haven't heard that.
Then
we
have Finity. Eric S.
Thank you, brother.
Next.
Finity. Yeah, we don't care about him.
Grim is here.
Our boy Grim.
Yep. Then Ben Lazarus.
Oh, hey.
My brother from another mother, Knights Templar is here.
Knights Templar's here, all right.
Nice. We already did Grim, Theos again, Eric S. Shadow Val. Another one of my peeps. Let's see. Then we keep going. We got Cyber Shark.
Wow.
Cyber Shark.
There's a lot of people there's a lot of people in chat tonight. Wow.
Thanks for joining us.
Wow.
Then we got Martin Waterman. How are you doing, Martin?
Martin.
Good old Maurice is here. Thanks always. Good old Maurice. Captain Blackbeard.
Arr. Let's see the late picks.
Then we got Teals. Teelz. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Then we got Turbs. Turbs asked me for a shout out earlier. He was like, "Hey brother, make sure to give you a shout out." He's still awake. So absolutely give you a shout out.
Absolutely. Wherever you're at. Glad to have you Nick.
Cody
is
here.
Very nice.
Let's say hi to Nick. Then John Knopf.
Knopf.
And then
John Knopf.
Maya Mori. Thank you for being here. The late picks. Always love me some late picks. Doc Brito.
Wow.
Thanks for being here, Doc.
Wow.
We got a bunch of folks.
Some new people, some veterans. And if you we've got the new feature for Super Chat. A couple of options there if you would like to donate. We've had lots of people, you can see on the bottom of the screen there, that have donated to the stream. You can see their names there. We appreciate any and all donations that you want to give to the stream to help us support us putting out the content that we're putting out. It helps us with the graphics and everything else that you see that you see for the stream. So if you want to donate, please do. You get your name highlighted, and if you give $20, you join the VIP part where you basically get a channel in our Discord and you have our ear at all times. You know, some of the people that are in the VIP that they have used it, which they deserve, to use us to basically help with the rosters, help with the questions, help with everything, which we are more than glad to do, which we'll do anyway. If you come to our Discord, we'll do that anyway, but these guys get direct access. So if you give $20, you get direct access to us. We'll do your roster review. I've done some of those for those guys. Anything that you need us to cover with you.
You also get sneak peeks on Finity's funny videos. You get a bunch of cool stuff. So it's super cool. You want to jump right into it?
Yeah. I mean, let's get into this. You can see too that we've got the Last Jedi. We were going to have a Star Wars clip of the week, so this week we're doing the trailer for the new Last Jedi. So if you haven't seen it, there it is. Yeah, let's get into it, man. There's a lot to cover. So
I think the first item on our agenda was the 500 crystals for the server outage that some people got. You got 500 crystals and an Omega.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on how they handled this solution? On how they handled that situation?
For me, I thought it was fine. I didn't have an outage, but they still sent me the crystals anyway, so thank you, CG.
Yeah, I didn't have the outage either. That was a pleasant surprise for me.
I know, I logged in, I was like, I'll take 500 crystals. Hell yeah.
Wait. So basically, Sir Loki and Ranger J 1999, what you're telling me is that you would rather have 500 crystals and an Omega than have 20 Chewie shards? I mean, come on. No. You could have gotten 20 Chewie shards out of the deal.
I'll take the 500 crystals.
I think they handled it perfectly. I think that's the way they should handle any kind of outage. Whether, because you never know how it's going to affect somebody. So you know what, you might as well. No one gets upset with 500 crystals.
No,
Omega.
I mean, who's going to sit there and complain about that? Unless you're just a selfish butthole. And it should have been 1,000. No, it shouldn't have. They don't have to give you anything. Outages are part of the game.
They're just going to happen. They don't. Yeah, they honest. I mean, if you think about it, how much are they up? I mean, they are down very rarely, maybe once or twice a week, a month. And when they are down, it doesn't seem like they're down for very, very long at all. So I feel like great way to handle it. I feel like that this company is getting better at how they handle PR as they go along.
They are. I think they've learned. I think they've learned their lessons from some previous episodes. Things that they've done.
That kind of goes. That kind of segues right into our next thing, which is I know that they're discussing openly with the with the group. There's a link on the forums about it. There's a forum post about how to randomize the tiebreaker for the Rancor.
Yeah.
And they're basically saying same score gets randomized is how they're currently thinking about it. Sir Loki, do you feel like completely random, same score, completely random is the way to do it? So zeros are random, full clears of a heroic Rancor is random. Do you feel like that's the right way to do it, Sir Loki?
So I think on the original post, I don't know, a couple weeks back or something like that, they said it was going to be some kind of controlled by, it was going to be like user determined. So I'm not sure if they're backpedaling or, they maybe were testing a way to actually decide on does the guild leader get to choose the tiebreaker or whatever, and they kind of backpedaled. But I guess if that's the limitation and they have to do some kind of RNG for that tiebreaker, I mean, it's better than what we got now.
It's way better than what we have now.
Yeah, but they kind of backpedaled a little bit.
They did. I mean, it may be that there are some, like you said, it may be that there are some limitations.
Yeah,
they can't do it in the way we're talking about, so they have to do it this way. I don't know.
Well, we have a question already from Martin Waterman. He says, since everything that's been going on, who should I Zeta first now? It's a good question. Do we want to just get into that after we go through the bugs?
Let's ask it right now. I probably would wait until May 25th to pull my Zeta. I mean, potentially Tarkin gets a rework and gets a Zeta. Potentially it's R2, or potentially it's whatever happens on the 25th. So I would say, just wait. Just wait. That's what I would do.
Yeah. That's a really good advice. I mean, we don't know who the 25th. Let's speculate. I think it's going to be Jedi Luke from Return of the Jedi.
So that kind of goes back into this. We are going to get into all the bug fixes. The bug fixes are a big deal. Bug fixes are number 9 on our agenda. When we talk about this, there was a cryptic message at the bottom of the bug fix, which was an ambitious and ruthless proponent of military power sees a change. And then, do we think that this is definitely Tarkin? I think that this is definitely Tarkin. Yeah. And the reason why is because if you run into the databank, if you run into the so StarWars.com databank and you look it up, that is the very first line of Tarkin's description.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, there have been some speculation that some people were saying it could be Thrawn. It's not going to be Thrawn. It's going to be Tarkin.
No, it is definitely Tarkin.
Hey, $10 from Turbs. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Turbs, sweet, bro. We definitely actually, that's 10 pounds, bro.
Is it?
Did you see that?
How much? I don't know the. I don't know the transition.
I don't know what the conversion rate either. But thanks so much.
$900,000 US. We're rich. We're rich, bitches.
We're rich. That's it. We're going on a cruise. We're going to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely see him. Let's ask Sir Loki what he thinks. Mm-hmm. What do you think, man? How do you think they should rework Tarkin?
That's a good one.
Let's look at him. Let's bring him up.
Pull him up.
Yeah,
pull him up. So yeah, we can look at him.
So the Empire's really lacking a cleanser.
Yeah, agreed.
We'd love to see him do some cleansing and build on his speed. I think his leader ability gives speed right now. So I'd love to see more on top of that. Not more speed, but more stuff, right? So does he give turn meter? I mean, that would be awesome because side leader that can give turn meter like that.
Right.
Style of turn meter. But I'm hoping for a cleansing ability, and then I'm hoping for I mean, it'd be kind of cool if he was a cleanser and he could do some debuffs, right? I mean, I don't think we have one of those yet, but he does have some kind of an AoE that does double damage or whatever it is to rebels. So if he can continue rebels along with with an added cleanse and then an upgraded leader ability, I think he would live up to his name.
Yeah, they need it. They need that cleanse bad. I mean, they need that clean. They need that cleanse more than they need that 30 speed. I think his leader ability will definitely be a Zeta leader ability for plus 30 speed to Empire, but they need to modify one of his uniques.
I mean, he needs a total rework.
They need to give him a unique. Give him a unique where he gets the cleanse, like cleanse on crit, cleanse on one removal per his turn, kind of like Savage Oppress, but give him a unique, and then so a Zeta unique and a Zeta leader ability.
I was actually thinking of, wouldn't it be cool if he could debuff, and then the buffs that he actually dispelled to the Empire allies? I think that would be kind of cool.
Like Yoda, kind of.
Well, Yoda steals the buffs, right? But it would be cool if that guy could actually opposing team.
Hey, Martin Waterman, $20. Wow, thank you, sir, and welcome to the VIP. Welcome to the VIP lounge.
Yep. Nice. Thank you, Martin Waterman.
Continue, Sir Loki. I'm sorry. Every time I see that, I'm going to interrupt.
No problem. No problem. I'm just thinking along the lines. You know how like Cassian can spread debuffs with his what is it called, crippling shot or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be kind of cool if Tarkin could do the same thing and actually dispel the other team and then steal their abilities, right? It'd be too OP, but that guy's. I mean, he's just way overdue for a rework, and it's got to be good, It's got to be better than Veers. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Veers is okay, but it's not game changing in my opinion.
No, it's not. And the Trooper rework, I mean, we've talked about it. It was okay. It was an improvement, but it doesn't put them in the limelight where we're going to be like, oh my God, you need to get these characters. You need to get these characters now, kind of thing. So, Tarkin is one of those characters that they need to change him up. He needs to be more diverse in what he can do. He does need a unique. There's a lot of stuff that they need to do for him. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Tarkin. He is a fleet commander too, so I don't know, if they're looking at that as well. So we'll see what's happening. So what's next on the agenda there, Grande? Are we still in the bugs and stuff like that, or where are we at?
The bugs are a little bit down from there.
Okay,
so that was just.
So we're getting
the next thing on our.
Okay.
Yeah, so the next item on our list, after kind of talking about possible Tarkin, was the May 25th new event series. We don't have a name yet for that event. And I've hinted at it that it's going to be, that it is potentially going to be significant, and that there's going to be a few things happening with it. But and it coincides with the 25th anniversary. It's interesting. I know Sir Loki and I were kind of talking about this off in one of our chats about the fact that you got to see Jedi Luke, and the reason why you got to see Jedi Luke is because Force Arena now has 2 versions of a playable Jedi Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And that was insane. Whenever you said that to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, Sir Loki's right. Like, they've got to be feeling the heat on that. So hopefully we see that. We see a few other things related to Star Wars. There's some official Star Wars in LA. There's some kind of new young Han Solo movie coming out next year on the 25th. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we're going to get Jedi Luke on that day, or that?
I think so.
What are your thoughts on that, Sir Loki?
Yeah, go ahead, Loki.
I'm pop in, so I do want to say hi to him.
We have Luke, Die Rocker, Mage Ducky. Who popped in?
Nukin.
Oh my God! Oh, Nukin!
From the Republic.
You sly turd.
Maybe his mic may not be working. Sometimes he has to restart a couple times.
Just Nukin, if you can hear us, pop in.
He came back.
Did he come back? I don't see him. Oh, there he is, Nukin.
I saw him come back.
And then he popped back out. Okay. Nukin, if you can hear us, just pop in and say hi as soon as you get in.
Yep. Sounds good. Going back to Luke, as Grande mentioned, I mean, Force Arena got a 40th anniversary Luke Skywalker, which looks so sick. He's the concept art.
Yeah, from Ralph McQuarrie.
I don't know how they got that thing in the game, but obviously got approved by whoever, and he's in the game, and he looks awesome. But anyway, it would be so cool. I'm really hoping for, at the minimum, we get a rework to Farm Boy Luke. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Good old Maurice.
I'll leave it at that.
Good old Maurice asked a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make. He talked about Poe is 253, R2 is 2. He's got Finn as utility, as a utility character, and then he has a 4th that doesn't matter. He's wondering how fast would his nihilist needs to be. He needs debuffed enemies. Yeah, you want him slower than your debuff.
You do fast, but not faster than them.
Poe's gonna taunt.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how much potency you have on Poe, you can get anywhere between a 3-way and a 5-way expose. I would say that you would be wanting to have him fast, but I don't know if you can get him up to 252. You could, but get him really fast. I've noticed that the faster you have Darth Nihilus, the quicker you get to annihilate. The more debuffs you have, the quicker you get to annihilate. You've got 2 AoE debuffers coming up before him, so I would say try to get him in the 230s. How fast is Nihilus base? You could probably get him 100 faster than his base.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's the same as Emperor Palpatine, so he's a little slow, but.
All right.
Oh my God! It's Smithy D.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Oh,
he's 120.
All right, guys, I snuck in through the back door.
Hey, Nukin!
Nice. We love it. We love it.
I thought you had a prior engagement,
I heard Tarkin, and I had to come on.
Oh my God!
Right. So what do you? Okay, so let's just jump back for a minute, because I know you're kind of an old school.
1 second,
rebel.
Finn, can you get the link, or Ronnie? Can you guys get the link to Smithy if he wants to be on too?
Yeah. I'll copy it right now.
Yeah, but Nukin, what are you? Yeah, go ahead, Grande.
So, what are your thoughts on ye old Tarkin and what needs to happen to him?
So Tarkin should be reworked probably in the next 2 to 4 weeks, I think. That's about the time length that we had when they had the Veers kind of hidden clue,
right?
The last update notes. I think that when you look at it
before the 25th, maybe even that puts it before the 25th event.
Yeah, potentially. And I think that if you look on his abilities, his leader ability will probably get a Zeta. I think that maybe some of his abilities will get tweaked, like the Omegas will get buffed in some way. And potentially he might get some synergy with existing Empire characters, the Imperial Troopers, but they're not super, super strong. So maybe he'll work with them, or he'll work with Gar Saxon and the Imperial Commando.
I feel like he needs a unique. The guy needs a unique. He's got a couple specials, but it's kind of.
That would be excellent if he had a unique. That would probably make him really, really strong, and have people cry on the forum saying he's overpowered.
Oh God.
Which would be a first. I think that if he got any sort of like debuffing or benefits, like when you debuff someone, you get some positive effect, or if he had a cleanse or a heal or some sort of synergy with Veers or another Empire character, he would just jump right into the meta with on those specialized Empire teams. And I'm actually saving my Zeta to figure out what the rework is, and if it's good, I'm going to go Empire, and if it's not, I'm going to Zeta Savage and go Sith.
Now, are you going to save your Zeta for the 25th event if we're thinking that it's going to be Jedi Luke?
Yeah, I think for anyone watching, you probably want to save your Zeta, and it might burn a hole in your pocket for a few days, but it'll be worth it because you'll know that you made the best decision, because you'll probably have at least an announcement of what the next character might be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to be a Rebel or a Jedi, because fan favorites are usually the light side guys. So if anyone's like looking forward to like Thrawn or something, I don't get your hopes up.
No, it's not going to be Thrawn.
No, it's not going to be Thrawn. It's just, we've seen no literature come out of CG that says Thrawn, except for one Twitter post from EA Jesse about the Thrawn book. So I'm thinking no. I'm thinking let's look at what their promotions have been. So that's where I would go with it. But yeah, man, just wait a little bit and let's just see. It doesn't hurt to have. There's a resource management game. It doesn't hurt to wait on your resources. One Zeta, while if you're really low down in the 200s in arena rank, could make a huge difference. If you waited 10 or 15 days, and if you're in the top 50. Probably not going to make that big of a difference, and we definitely don't want you to misspend that for sure. All right. So the event is okay. So the events, these new events that are coming, the ones that we're talking about on the 25th, are expected to help with the gear crunch. Whether or not this will be a reoccurring or one time, will not be released. And then, what would you guys like to see for this event? In other words, the stuff that's supposed to be happening on the 25th for the 40th anniversary, supposed to help us with the gear crunch, supposed to be some new stuff coming up. What would you like to see as far as a gear crunch item, potentially, that we get? Nukin.
We need something to do with some of the gear that's not in the challenges. So,
stun cuffs,
shield generators, those MK3 projector things.
Oh god!
Some of those items that aren't in the challenges. Maybe even Carbantes. I mean, they are challenge gear, but there's so many characters that need Carbantes.
We could get another. Dude, they could have a whole challenge that's just like, hey, every other day, we're going to give you 5 Carbantes if you'll do this. I would be like, heck yeah, I'd do it. Oh my God.
Yeah, me too. I've been requesting MK3 Carbantes for every single day for the donation in the guild for literally like 4 or 5 months.
Oh, you're one of those guys, are you? You freaking quit? I'm just messing with you.
People don't even have to look at my name anymore. They're like, this guy again.
Sir Loki, what would you like to see put into the new events to help with the gear crunch?
I'd like to see. I wouldn't want the pieces. I mean, I'm gonna go all the way, and they got to give us like fully crafted.
Agreed.
Oh snap!
Gear,
he's like,
so,
he's like, screw that. We've been waiting so long. You better give me a full damn.
That was what I was gonna say.
Holy crap! Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they can buff the GW rewards like at the very end or something for a month, or if they can buff the little prize box for level 85. I mean, even like, let's just, at the minimum, if they can just cut the crystal cost to like a third that's in the shipments on like fully crafted gear, I'm good with that too. So
okay, so maybe just give us a bunch of crystals.
That
way we can spend it how we want to.
Yeah, no, that's always good, right? But the other thing too is maybe redo the Bronzonian pack, right? And start putting like
there you go,
like
put some
stun cuff, put all that good stuff that we need. And
throw some good stuff. When was the last time Bronzians were we? Last time they took a couple characters out, but I don't remember them putting a couple characters in. So maybe they need to put some characters in. Maybe they need to put some gear in so that we have a better drop rate on some of that stuff.
Yeah, they
You know
always
what would
rework
be
the
interesting?
chromiums, but
Go ahead,
Is
Nokin.
if they gave you the option to disable character shards or gear so you could have your preference in the bronziums. What do you think about that idea?
Wow, that
Man,
would be cool.
Most people know that I pull bronziums straight up for character shards so I can go throw them in the shard shop. And I know we've gone over my program before, but I got Nihilus to 7-star that way for free. Sith Assassin to 7-star for free that way. So I do like it whenever I get 32 shards of a Rururu, and I'm like, nice. That goes to the shard shop. There we go.
You have to get a 7-star before you can get shard shop.
Hey, all I'm saying is it worked for me. I farmed that node for so long, and let me tell you, while you're at it with it, I thought leveling up abilities on Jawas was like I'd get them mixed up. I leveled all of Arururu's abilities to 7-star when I meant to level up Tusken Raider the other day. And I was like, what am I going to do with this guy? I'm like, he can't do anything. He's terrible. Like, half of his abilities, he just puts his arms in the air and shakes them. Like, I don't even know.
I saw a Smithy come in. So what does Smithy think of the gear?
Oh my
Smithy, what do you think?
Oh my god!
I think it's a good concept, especially if we do get fully made pieces of gear. I haven't actually had too much time to actually have a look what was on the post. I've been busy, but it sounds good. Anything where they're gonna help stop a crunch, even if it is for a few days. I'm in. Whatever they're giving, I'm definitely up for that. Yeah,
I'm with you. Whenever they made the change to Galactic War and we got better rewards, I definitely felt the difference after about a week or so. Anything that they want to buff or kind of modify a little bit, I'm great with it. I'll take all the free stuff they want to give me every time.
So Smithy D, May 25th. Do you think you're finally going to get your Jedi Luke?
What happens on the May 25th? The Tarkin rework.
No,
well, we think Tarkin rework might be a couple of days before that. May 25th is the new event series coming. So we're a little unfamiliar. We think it's going to be helping with the credit crunch, but they've unnamed it. So because of all of the artwork and the new advertising that's come up from CG and the new opening screen, we're kind of all thinking that maybe, just maybe, we're going to get a new we're going to get Jedi Luke finally.
Probably not. Jedi Luke's not going to come till probably next year. What I've been told. So don't quote me directly on this, but when anybody asked the kind of EA guys at Star Wars Celebration, they said that Jedi Luke's not coming for a very long time, and they specifically said Jedi Luke. Doesn't mean that a different version of Luke won't come. But Jedi Luke is probably going to come after the Bespin or some other version of Luke to jump from Empire Luke all the way to Jedi Luke. Kind of then makes it pointless. You can't make Empire Luke more powerful than Jedi Luke, so you've got to kind of like slowly build up, and then bam, when Jedi Luke comes out, he's going to be powerful. Then you're going to have OG Luke that's going to be even more powerful. I think it'd be if they jumped to Return of the Jedi Luke, and then I think that'd be a really big missed opportunity.
You make a good point. So yeah. So you could do like New Hope Luke, but further along when he actually has a lightsaber, and then you could do Hoth Luke, right? I mean, you could just kind of go through the whole. Go through the whole.
I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll just do. I think in the total, what we'll see in the game is you're going to have 4 versions of Luke. You may get to see X-Wing Luke, but Empire Luke can still fly an X-Wing anyway. So it just depends on what they do. But I really doubt they're going to put like more than 3 or 4 versions of Luke. So if we look at it, you've got the Farm Boy Luke at the moment. That covers most of New Hope. The only difference at the end, he changes into an X-Wing kind of like Luke. So that kind of
covers
does that gap. Yeah. Hoth Luke, probably not. don't really see the excitement of bringing in a Hoth Luke so he can ride a tantrum, or Tauntaun.
Ride a what?
Yeah.
No, what is your ride, Smithy D?
Hey, do you know what temperature those are? Those are lukewarm.
And I thought they smell bad.
Yeah, I don't see the point unless they bring out Ground Wars or something. But I don't know. I don't really see the point or what he's going to bring to the table because he wasn't really.
So you need like a Bespin Luke, then, really?
Yeah, so I'm saying like a Bespin Luke in his Bespin.
And he's actually in the game already. We play him in PvP already. So that's
So I think that's a big possibility. And then after that, Return of the Jedi Luke, and then after that, I would say it would be old Luke, and that would be your only versions that you'd ever see. Because it completely then makes a character. If you bring out every version of the character, the game's going to be watered down like Marvel. You know, they're Marvel games where they bring out 50 versions of Wolverine and 50 versions of Iron Man, which I wouldn't want to see. I'd be happy with 4 total versions, and that would be it through 4 major points of his kind of life. Beyond that, I don't think you should add any more than 4.
Okay. So then the next item on our agenda is ye ol' meta reporte.
Oh no, not the meta.
Ye ol' meta reporte.
There it is. There's the meta.
So, meta report. The things that we see on the meta report is, and we saw this starting a little bit last week.
Yep.
Was Rex is overtaking Darth Maul substantially now.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you a couple things that seem a little bit interesting to me. Is Nihilus is that Qui-Gon Jinn's still holding up strong, and Nihilus is holding up strong, and I've seen a little bit of a resurgence in Wedge, so I find that kind of interesting. And you've also seen a bunch of Gen Urso come up. But one of the things that I was looking for is whenever we got this R2-D2 was I thought for sure, and I mean for sure, I thought we were going to get a resurgence in Finn, and we only have 10 rank 1 leaders running Finn. So that's a little interesting to me. I thought that it would be slightly differently than that.
I mean, on your chart, have you seen anybody using consistently R2-D2? I have not. I mean, I've seen some teams that try to put them in, and they dropped significantly, and they disappeared. So, for you guys on your shards, our team still running R2-D2 in your shard? I mean,
I run R2-D2.
I mean, I see a couple people that run it. I'm fighting a guy right this second who's actually running it. I don't feel like it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things I've noticed is it seems to make Wedge lead work a little bit better.
It does, yeah.
It makes, which I don't think that was really their intent. But I thought that was, in fact, it makes Wedge work without bigs, which is kind of interesting. You read Chirrut and Baze, GK, and R2, and no bigs. And I was like,
you saw that on your shard?
It's on my shard right now. I'm fighting it. And we had a huge discussion in one of our theory crafting channels about it. And I was like, this, I mean, we'll check it out. I mean, it seems like it's working. I mean, it sounds strange, I know, but
it sounds interesting. I don't know how good that is, but definitely interesting.
So I just kind of let it go. It appears like whenever you get on here, there are 52 people hitting rank 1 or 10% that are running Rex, Chirrut, Baze, Nihilus, and R2. So they've basically dropped GK for R2, or they didn't have a GK. And then
I run a squad at the minute.
You run that squad?
No. I run a Rex lead, R2-D2, General Kenobi, Nihilus, and Zeta Barrett.
Oh, interesting.
I think that R2-D2 is kind of like a poor man's Kenobi because he doesn't have taunt, but he can have someone taunt for you. He has that cleanse if you Zeta him. So that's kind of like the purpose that he has. And I think also, to go back to why you think, why there's no fin, I think one of the bugs is involved with the resistance, and you can't like stack exposes anymore or something. Apparently that was a possibility before, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
No, it's just they're really bad on defense. The AI just doesn't know how to use them, even though with the stacking of the kind of like exposed, I don't think in my R2 video, I don't think they stacked once from Poe.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't really make a massive deal. If you get 5 exposes as an R2 longer does his AoE, they're going to have 100%, well over 100% time meter. So even with it being, I've never been able to stack it with Finn anyway.
The only person I've ever seen it stacked against is I've seen exposed stacked whenever it's my Anakin playing and he gets 2 exposed. That's the only time. That's the only time I ever see.
The only time it happened was when Poe taunted. That was it. So he could put an extra expose on someone that was already exposed. But if you used Finn on the expose, it wouldn't put an extra expose. It would just get rid of the expose, but it wouldn't land another one. So it's just them on defense, really, because on defense, the AI kind of just like randomly starts attacking. So it doesn't always attack the exposed target. So it could start off great, and R2-D2 is going to open with smoke screen. So Poe's going to go. Then it's going to be Resistance Trooper. Resistance Trooper is probably going to hit the Taunter, or he may not hit the actual person that's exposed. So, and then it kind of leaves your team kind of deflated straight away, because R2-D2 is then going to put up smoke screen. So he's not going to use his AoE to get rid of the exposes, and your team's then pretty much, if someone's running a Rex lead, they're just going to put Pop Tenacity up, and that's it. It's game over. The AI just can't use it.
So, you know who stacks expose is Cassian, because I've had like 5 or 6 exposes stacked, and they actually all did damage. It wasn't just a visual bug. So I think maybe there was some stacking of expose potentially with resistance, and I'm not sure if Cassian has been fixed as well.
I know we're going to get to all those. We have a ton of these to get to. So the one thing. The one thing I wanted to scroll down to and was look at all characters. Nihilus is definitely the character that you got. You know, Nihilus has almost an additional 500 people using him versus the next one, which is Kenobi. So you have 78% of rank 1 leaders running Nihilus. It's Nihilus, Kenobi, Rex, Baze, and Chirrut, Darth Maul, Emperor Palpatine. I will tell you that you go all the way down here, and for being a character that's just been out for about a week, R2-D2 at 13% of rank 1 leaders running R2-D2 seems like he has definitely climbed up the list very fast. And I do find that's highly interesting, and I'm glad that's happening. There is one person that's running Coruscant Underworld Police. I want to know, and only one person running General Veers. And one person running Geospy. I mean, it's just
one person's probably Arnold. Who's running Veers?
He's running Veers. The one guy running Veers. Arnold Veers is gonna be so awesome. It's gonna be so awesome.
He loves his troopers. Bless him.
I know you've talked about Cassie and Andor. You've only got about 30%. I mean, about 30 people total even running Cassian. So he doesn't even make the cut shown on the screen.
I think it's because R2-D2 just works better under a wedge lead instead of Jin.
Maybe you're right, but
that might be why.
It's interesting to see who's coming on strong and who's not. And it is basically new characters or reworked characters all the way around the horn. So that kind of tells you what's going on.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to talk about as far as the meta report is concerned?
Nothing surprising. I mean, I think we covered it.
All right. I think it's time to run our new ad for the new movie.
Oh, let's do that. Yeah.
So that means everybody in Hangouts needs to mute their mic and
be quiet.
Is there a 30-second delay?
Yes. So when I come back, that's when you guys can talk again. So we're going to do that. So here's, if you haven't seen it, Finn put this together. Everybody wanted to see it again. So let's take a look at the new, I don't know, movie, show, whatever you want to call this.
Veers and Snowtrooper, that's where you get your crit chance and your crit damage. So they're like this cute little couple, this Hoth couple.
Hoth couple.
And there you go. You have the Hoth Rebel love duo there with General Veers and Hoth Rebels or Hoth Trooper. So there you go.
No Trooper.
Brought to you by Wells Fargo. So there you
go.
Yep. Proud sponsor.
Yeah, proud sponsor of the RSG stream, Wells Fargo. If you haven't seen that commercial, you can check it out on our channel. All right, so that being said,
next on the list is the conversation about tag. Do we need a Mandalorian tag in this game? Do we need a way to put multiple Mandalorians on the same team with some kind of synergy? Being Mandalorian, Gar Saxon being Mandalorian, potentially the Imperial Super Commando being Mandalorian. There's a discussion about whether or not Boba Fett is even Mandalorian or not.
Mm-hmm.
But would it be cool, and are they ready for a Mandalorian type tag and a Mandalorian synergy? Sir Loki, what do you think about Mandalorians and a Mandalorian tag in the future?
I think in the future it would be great as soon as they make those characters farmable. I don't think any of them are farmable right now. Paxton, the Commando, Sabine. Yeah, it would be nice because it would just give more dynamic. For the people that bought into Gar Saxon and the Commando, I think it's, I don't know if it was a good purchase or not because I haven't seen him much on the meta report or anything. So, it would give more versatility. I think it's a good idea. There's 3 of them right now. I think they mentioned, and then maybe Boba Fett, maybe Jango later, maybe. I don't know. Are the clones Mandalorian too? I don't know. So, it's a possibility.
I know the devs have already commented. We're getting some people in chat that said that no Mandalorian tag yet, and that yes, the devs have already commented, and they don't
know
want
that.
a
But
Mandalorian
this is a discussion of should there be one. Not what
should
the
there
devs
be?
said.
We understand that the devs have already made a comment.
They're kind of contradicting themselves. So if you remember, they introduced the Separatist faction tag.
Yes.
Still have no synergy whatsoever with each other, but there is a Separatist tag. So why can't you just make a Mandalorian tag and do the same exact thing?
There you go, and not even do anything, right? Just have it. Now I want to ask. Yeah. I do want to ask this question of Smithy and of Ranger because you guys know a lot more about lore than I do. Be a Mandalorian if there's a Mandalorian tag.
No.
No. Smithy says no. Ranger, what do you say?
For who specifically?
Mandalorian tag for Boba or no?
At the current Bubba, no, he's not a Mandalorian at this time. The version they have, so and he didn't really get his Mandalorian tag. That's not canon because the Legends he did. However, that's Legends, and that was much later. And I just don't know if that would make sense. So if they want to do it, they probably have to introduce some more Mandalorians, which I'm fine with them doing. by all means, there's a lot of good characters out there that they can introduce from Rebels, Clone Wars, that kind of thing, where they could make the Mandalorian tag. It would be really interesting, and I think add more to the game. But no, not with the current tunes that are out right now. It just doesn't make sense.
Like Jango Fett was never born a Mandalorian.
No.
So he was never born there. You know, he was adopted, and brought up by Mandalorians. But beyond that, all the legend stuff got deleted. So there is no story for Jango Fett as canon. So what is kind of like what I would call Disney canon. So it's unless they make a story and come out and firm right and say he's Mandalorian, is Mandalorian too. Then until that day happens, I don't think Jango or Boba Fett will get the Mandalorian tag. Clones definitely won't get a Mandalorian tag because there is no blood of Mandalorian in Jango to make them Mandalorian. So if they made from some ritual, that made Jango Mandalorian, it still won't make Boba Fett a Mandalorian, if that makes sense, because there is no Mandalorian blood in Jango to be passed.
And maybe that's part of the quagmire, right? Is that if they made a Mandalorian tag and Boba wasn't made Mandalorian, everybody'd whine crying on the forums about the fact that they didn't make Boba, and then we have to have this whole conversation over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so that kind of blows.
There's only 3 Mandalorians in the game, isn't there? That's it. So there's no point adding a tag to them, like they said, because what you're going to do with them, you've got Sabine, Saxon, Commando, isn't it? That's it. So maybe in the future, if they add a ton more Mandalorians, because they could add a load of Mandalorians from Knights of the Old Republic. Pre-Vizsla, they can add all that. Then it'd probably be worth adding a Mandalorian tag. And the kind of like thing with it's Rebels in the season of Rebels, it's kind of like Sabine versus Saxon. So then to add a Mandalorian tag to her and then run her with it kind of contradicts trying to do. So they would probably have to wait until they've got a bunch of Mandalorians. We're probably talking about at least 5 to then give them some kind of like synergy, because there's nothing that they'd be able to do with that tag. Kind of added, I'd probably be guessing, and I think to add those kind of things that haven't been added have to still be authorized.
Thank you, Steve V.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Appreciate that, buddy. He says he likes turtles. Well,
who doesn't?
We're glad you like turtles. We had a question here from Octavius Connections. If Jedi Luke comes out, how do you think we'll unlock him as a legendary?
Shadowvel just put balling $20 from Shadowvel.
Shadowvel,
our boy, buddy. Shadowvel. Thank you, sir.
Shadowvel, thank you so much. So yeah, I think we've already kind of discussed Jedi Luke a little bit. It's that it's potentially going to be something different, and that it would take a little bit. And I think that Smithy's kind of right as far as that we would be missing. They'd be missing an opportunity to just go straight from one to the other.
Yeah. Well said.
Anyway,
it should be a legendary event anyway.
Yeah.
Or maybe even higher than legendary event.
Or a raid, yeah. It could be anything like that. Could be a new raid or a new game mode it could be tied into. It just depends what the game mode is. I guess we'll find out in the next month.
Yeah,
probably.
Hopefully. All right, what's next, Grande Petroni? Did we lose Grande?
Have to give me a minute.
That's okay.
I got to step away.
Okay, so let me try to find where we're at. Give me a moment. Let's see here. If I can get the damn thing to work. Oh, streaming causes so much problems. Alright. Hang on, guys. I wasn't prepared for that. Alright.
Do we want to go through the bug fixes?
Yeah, I think we're about to do that. I just want to see what the agenda is. Let's see. I had it up here, but okay. We did that. We did that. All right. So let's get into the bug fixes. So there's a big, thing on the forums about the bugs. Have you guys had a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I've seen most of
that. Eric, Nukin, I'm sorry, I said Eric. Good lord, I'm sorry. Nukin, Loki, have you had a chance to check that out?
I have, yes.
All right, so let's start with you, Nukin. What were your initial thoughts when you read everything there? We'll get into the specifics, but just general overall thoughts.
Okay, so I'm just going to skim through it and highlight some stuff, and maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah.
It looks like Wedge and Biggs and Baze and Turret had some grouping where they had some benefits that they were retaining, even though one of the characters died, so that was changed.
Mm-hmm.
They made a Darth Vader change, so maybe the Rancor is supposedly going to be harder now, and you can't auto it. We talked a little bit about Finn and the resistance there, and something that was really interesting that some people didn't really pick up on. There was a thing with Darth Maul, and they said fixed an issue with power that was causing it to grant more potency than intended. And I always thought that was a bug. Q at like 95% tenacity. I'm not sure if anyone else does have that, and he was getting dazed every single time. And I went back and I did the math. I said, Maul can't have more than like 60% potency because he starts with 0.
Mm-hmm.
And he was landing dazed every single time. And when you watch those videos on YouTube with arena trials, he was landing like 5-person dazes, right?
Yeah.
So right as Darth Maul is exiting the meta, it seems like they fixed that bug. Anything else? Oh, Boba's ship now can crit with one of his specials. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? Did anyone else see anything interesting from these bugs?
Loki? Loki there?
I'm here. No, so going back to Boba's ship, the big one for me was the seismic charge. So it can ignore protection now. It makes it 10 times better for him now. So he can almost one-shot some of the not so tanky ships, which is great. Other than that, I mean, overall, it looks like critical chance might have gotten a big buff just game wide. So it just appears like look at Lando's it will correctly grant 29% critical. Oh, I'm sorry, that was critical damage. But so leader abilities that grant critical chance now stack with other sources of increase. I haven't played with the clones yet in the raid, but I'm hoping that with Cody lead and then now Princess Leia, that they have even more critical chance, and it looks like Clone Sergeant got fixed as well. So with his critical chance buff. One that I'm actually excited about is Rey of all things, because now her daze it will no longer trigger the counterattack like in the past from other people on my shard and guildmates that actually Zeda'd Rey. They would daze like Dooku, but then Dooku would still counterattack after the first on the initial apply of the daze.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think she's working like she should now.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge for her.
Does anyone know?
They made that change with Darth Maul, and I'm surprised they didn't do it with Rey at the same time.
Does anyone know with daze? Does she apply daze first now?
It's supposed to be when she's Zeda'd any of her attacks, right?
No, only special attacks.
Special
does
attacks,
she apply it first like Maul does?
Yes,
then,
that's the way I read it on the bug fix. But in the past, she did the damage first, and then they counterattack, and then daze popped up. So it wasn't working like Maul did.
Yeah.
Smithy?
I think it said on there that Maul now, if it's a Maul versus Maul, or if the character dodges, Maul doesn't get any health steal anymore. I made a big video on that about he was getting loads of he was just a nightmare to kill when it's one-on-one with Maul, and he was getting full health steal.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't attacking, and they changed that. So I think Maul as general, they've completely powered him down. He's kind of probably going into sleep mode right about now. He's probably going to be. It just depends what character comes out in June. I'm sure that if we've got R2, then a character that comes out in June that's a fan favorite is definitely going to be something that's probably going to be good and meta changing. That's going to be good with R2. It could even be C3PO. Hopefully not.
God, if it's C3PO, I will lose it. I will really lose it. That's ridiculous. Oh God. You know what we should do? Let's just go through all these bugs fixes one by one, and if something sticks out, maybe we'll cover it. So the first one, I'm just going in order. SOOO's Ventress Strike Fear will now correctly remove turn meter. I did not know that wasn't working.
I don't think many people did.
Yeah, SOOO's Ventress Strike Fear Dispel can no longer be evaded. Now, does that do anything for a SOOO's Ventress? Now that her Strike Fear is removing turn meter and can no longer be evaded. Or is she still in the background still? Okay.
I would probably say with Ventress, the biggest issue with her is she gets speed but non-buffed allies. So she's going to get an opening speed, of like certain amount. So she's going to be quick, but versus Jedi that open with a buff versus Sith, she's just going to be sitting there with low speed.
Yeah.
She's great for Rex teams, I guess, but if she does go first, if she can remove that turn meter, then yeah, it's going to work like a charm. Yes.
All right. Next one is Baze Malbus will no longer retain bonuses from Chirrut Imwe's unique ability Indomitable Will after Chirrut is defeated, and will reapply to Baze when Chirrut is revived. We kind of knew that one was there. Biggs will no longer retain bonuses from Wedge's unique ability Red Leader after Wedge is defeated, and will reapply to Biggs when Wedge is revived. So it looks like those are just kind of a couple of bug fixes where they were kind of getting their abilities when they shouldn't have. Any thoughts on those two things? Anybody?
I don't think it will really change kind of like Baze and Chirrut much.
No.
It makes them a little weaker, but it's kind of like once you've already killed one of them, you're kind of already in the victory.
Yeah, you're gonna win.
Like at the end of the tunnel, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
No. See, next one, Boba Fett's leader ability, Dead or Alive, will now grant turn meter from thermal detonator explosions after the first encounter. Not much to say there. Anybody on that one? All right, so the next is the big one. Darth Vader's inspiring through fear will no longer cause extra turn meter removal on encounters past the first. Now, that one's a big one.
I don't think it makes a difference.
No, I mean, has anybody played with their Zeta or anything like that in the raid and seen a difference?
We had 6-7 guys that soloed it today in my guild.
Yeah.
And they said there was no difference. They could still solo it and they still used the same.
So, Smithy, did they auto it? Do you know if they did that?
I'm not sure. I think once that it was auto in it, like he was trying yesterday. But I don't know about the 7 that did it today.
Okay.
So I think everyone was overreacting about how this was the end of Vader being able to clear the Rancor. But people, I think, didn't realize that he was soloing the Rancor since December or January, way before the bug was even introduced, which was in mid to late February. So I'm pretty sure people are going to still be able to solo, but I think it'll be more difficult. Like a lot of players may have to play it manually now instead of putting it on auto.
Yeah, which is the way it should be. See, Chirrut no longer retains the bonuses for Baze unique. That's pretty much what they've done with the other ones. If they're dead, they can't get their stuff. Chirrut abilities, as the Force wills, now correctly dispels buff immunity. So, let's see here. Darth Maul fixed an issue with Power of Hatred we already talked about. Clone Sergeant's concentrated fire now correctly calculates critical chance. Anybody using Clone Sergeant? I didn't really notice that. Oh,
In the
Lord.
raid.
Yeah, you know. Darth Maul will no longer heal when his attacks are dodged. We were talking about that. Echo's EMP grenade now has the correct cooldown on the ability tier 3 and beyond. Tiers 3 and beyond. Each cost unique ability is now granting the correct amount of crit chance. Emperor Palpatine can now remove turn meter from his unique Crackling Doom under a Darth Vader lead. I didn't know that was a.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So people before Denzo G popularized and myself popularized the Phase 2 Elder Zader team, there was Zader in Phase 3, and it was like the upgraded version of Turpentine. And then for some reason they changed the way shock worked, and now they just reversed it back to how it was. So I'm not sure what their logic behind it. Like, they gave us all these bugs, right? But they didn't tell us like why they did anything. And I'm not sure why they would reverse something that they deliberately changed before.
I don't know.
I think Crackling Doom though is the AOE, right? That's the AOE light health steal.
Yeah. There's nothing to do with the shock. It just when he does his health thing.
It's considered damage, so he can remove turn meter if Zader's there.
So he can.
So Crackling Doom is the unique, right?
Let's look here, since we're talking.
Yeah, it is the unique. So it's
not the AOE then.
It's the unique. So what you would do is you would shock all the droids, and then you wouldn't have to run Turpentine anymore because turn meter based off the unique. And they changed that, and now it looks like they changed it back to how it was. So surprise! I guess you can run Zader in Phase 3 now. If you want to do that, but there's a stronger team in Phase 2, of course.
Yeah. Death Trooper will no longer retain bonuses. Director Krennic, this is the same as everything else. Director Krennic fixed an issue that could prevent the ability blocked inflicted by Director of Advanced Weapons Research to trigger. I haven't really played around too much with my Death Trooper, so... let's see anything there. Finn's Hold the Line now dispels debuffs before applying buffs. Okay. Grandmaster Yoda will now correctly copy heal over time buffs and grant them to others. That's a big one. Grandmaster Yoda will now copy protection up buffs and grant them to others. That's another big one. So he can steal those buffs now and apply them. That's really huge. I think how does that affect Yoda moving forward now that he can do that?
So I think it makes him stronger. I think what I was talking about, heal over time, I think you can copy multiple heals over time now, which is awesome if you're fighting Chase.
Yeah. Imagine Yoda going in against Chase and doing that. Oh, Lord. I think you got Chert and others that can dispel that crap off them, or you're in big trouble. Let's see. IG-88. Healing immunity affected by mortal wound will now correctly block heal steal and protection healing. IG's 88 unique ability, adaptive aim algorithm, now calculates attacks correctly when IG-88 has an offensive buff active. Does that have any effect on the raids or anything like that?
Not the raids, but this would have been helpful when we had the timeout team and people were still trying to make droids work with Zeta, Barriss, and Kenobi around. But I don't think it's going to do too much at this point in time.
No. Counter damage from Ima Gundy's leader now stacks with other sources of offensive buffs. I didn't know that it wasn't stacking. That's interesting. Lobot's parallel processing now provides them with the correct speed and tenacity bonuses. Yeah, Lobot's still Lobot. Nothing.
You'll always be Lobot.
You know, offensive
makes me want to go gear him up now, right?
No, it doesn't. Don't you do that. Offensive up from Anakin's unique now stacks with offense from his leader.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is.
I think with Nukin's that Phase 1 team you got for the tank.
Yeah, the Kenobi sync.
That might work. That might work as a lead. I don't know. That's gonna.
So we have a tank raid starting tomorrow, and I'll try and throw an Anakin and see. At the moment, most players are coming to me and saying that Amaganda is doing more damage for them. So we'll see if Anakin can reclaim being the best leader for that team.
Okay.
What I noticed, this is one thing I noticed and I forgot to mention earlier. Mace's capital ship seems to do more damage than it should. He's been doing against me, so on defense, when he does an AoE, when I'm attacking the Mace capital ship, when he does his area of effect, he's hitting on crits for like 30k. I don't know if that's normal. 30 to 35k. Around about that mark. And I'm like, whoa, that's nearly just cleared my kind of shit.
I noticed
and I don't remember him ever doing high damage like that on a crit, where it's like 35k.
I'm not aware of that. Something I'll have to look at. Okay, so it's something to put as a note to remember. We already talked about Rey's stuff. Sith allies will no longer land critical hits while under Darth Nihilus leader in assist attacks. Now
that's
that one's
cool.
Yeah. That's different. Okay.
Yeah, so when you're running Nihilus lead, there still were some ways where you can crit and then kind of defeat the purpose when you're trying to, face the Kenobi and he would activate taunt and you're like, I'm not supposed to crit.
Yeah. Why? Stormtrooper Han will no longer grant his teammates turn meter when he does not have taunt. That's a big one. Let's see. The dodged text will no longer appear when Qui-Gon Jinn's humbling blow and Tebow's bring low use their abilities and attack successfully. I didn't know that was a bug. Interesting. The ability block from PvE Luminara Undali will no longer persist between encounters. I'm not quite... Okay. Resistance troopers opportunity strike will no longer trigger counterattack if it dispelled enemy's retribution. Huh. Okay.
Yes. So it would damage first, and then
right.
And then they would counterattack, and then the retribution would go away. So
gotcha.
It's kind of like the Rey thing. So they're trying to get that whole thing triggering correctly, I guess, the stacking and all that.
Okay. Leader abilities that grant critical chance now stack with other sources of increased critical chance. Now, you just talked about that, Loki.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big time. I mean, I'm excited to see. I want to see how the clones do because, for like my clone team in Phase 4, it's always hard to put hands on everybody, right? Like it's hard to do.
Yeah. Let's see here. Lando Calrissian's leader ability, Fast and Loose, will correctly grant 29% critical damage at ability level 7 instead of 21%. Interesting. The invasion down from Sam...
Because we noticed that.
Yeah. The invasion down from Sam Wessel's debuff will now affect deflection as well as dodge. Okay. Let's see. Poe Dameron's unique Stand Firm now correctly grants health recovery to Finn when he resists a debuff. That's kind of a big one. Fixed an issue where Death Mark would not expire when a unit gained stealth if the unit already had stealth. Now that's a big one. I'm trying to think of how that will affect Death Trooper. Wow. And then Cassian's unique will now persist beyond the first encounter. Okay, so they fixed Cassian's thing. So out of all those, I think we kind of hit the ones that we think were pretty significant here. So let's get into ships. I'm trying to see if maybe there's something in here for Smithy.
I'm back now, by the way.
Oh, well then, Grande.
Grande.
Sorry about that. So I can start reading them now.
Okay, well, what are your thoughts overall? Yeah, overall of them, Grande.
My crisis was averted. So when I look at all of these, I think the biggest one obviously is the Vader one.
Right.
And that's probably the one most of us use. Some of the isn't turret ones seem like that those might be kind of interesting. That they, where they changed turret a little bit and base. Some of the other ones, I think we're really gonna have to go back and see and kind of play with them and see how they really work. They affected Death Trooper a whole bunch. I think that's going to be interesting. And then we have a few here that affected some resistance characters where they were kind of not really working quite as intended. There's another one too, as far as with nihilists and crits, which I think is interesting and potentially could make the nihilist team actually a little bit better. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, so we're now in
talk
ships.
About the ones for ships.
Yes.
Slaves 1 seismic charge will now correctly ignore protection and can now crit.
That's
this
huge.
One I think is huge because before that was a problem where it wasn't ignoring protection, and I don't remember if I saw it crit or not, to be honest.
Yeah.
It never crit.
No.
So
it was always 2 white numbers. So
that's a big one.
So then Slave 1's rotating twin cannon blasters extra hit will no longer trigger counterattacks.
That's very nice.
There's not a whole lot of characters that counter, but you can put counter on someone like Fives, for example. And that's interesting. Here's one about Millennium Falcon, Episode 7, Against the Odds. Will now correctly apply target lock to an enemy when the Falcon is buffed. Not too many people running.
No, not really.
What's the best Millennium Falcon that we're gonna get the shard on the anniversary?
Yeah,
maybe so. Yeah,
could be.
Maybe so.
Fan favorite.
Fan favorite. There we go.
That's your fan favorite.
Fan favorite. Episode 7.
That could be what the event's for, to get some Millennium Falcon shards. Then you'll be able to farm it.
Oh Lord.
That might be true. Maybe Millennium Falcon becomes farmable. There you go.
I'm ready for that. I've already got a Zeta Fin and Ray Gear 11.
You'd be fun with that. Sunfex Geonosian Starfighters prime target now properly stun the enemy ship that is buffed.
That's a big one.
A lot of people use Sunfac as a first or second or third reinforcement. So I think that that Sunfac stunning correctly will be important. Geonosian Soldier Starfighter Separatist Assault will no longer damage itself and the assisting ally. I never saw that.
I didn't either.
But I don't use Geonosian.
I do, and I never saw anything like that. So I don't know what. I wasn't aware that was a bug. So interesting.
Mm-hmm. This one's interesting. Exectrix will now always target 8 total units when using Empire Assault. Exectrix will now always target 12 total units when using Imperial Assault. There are only 5 units on the board. How are we targeting 12 units?
I have no idea.
You can attack multiple times with one of the ties on a ship. So I'm guessing that some of those were not landing.
That could be what's going on with the damage. Okay,
so that might be
increase the
buff
damage.
Yeah, so that might be a buff to Exectrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know before Mace Ducky has taught, and I'm not reading the chat because I'm now on my phone, but I know in the past Mace Ducky had said that Exectrix seemed like it was hitting spots or that was missing.
Hit or miss.
It was like missing spots it shouldn't have missed.
Yeah, with his AoE. Yep. Yeah. So it looks like they did
that. Would make sense because I've had it where I was in a ship battle and all that was left was an Imperial TIE fighter with that high 40% dodge, and I did the special and I'm like, no way they dodged 12 attacks. So I think some of them were probably missing.
It was like it was hitting empty slots or something.
Or something like that.
Yeah. So the next one is Resistance X-Wing will now apply Expose at ability level 1.
Okay.
Distance U-Wings scouting mission can no longer be evaded.
That's nice.
I think that's nice. And then we get down to non-functional changes. That's the strangest name for a section. What else?
Yeah.
Non-functional.
Functional and non-functional. Winter wear, summer wear.
Does that mean they're still broken? I don't know. Then updated description of takedown to indicate that it cannot expose targets that were already exposed. The ability has not changed. So in other words, this is a rewording of the ability.
Gotcha.
Resistance pilot update description outmaneuver to indicate that it can't expose targets that are already exposed. The ability has not changed. This goes back to the stacking of exposed. Basically, you can't stack exposed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Resistance Trooper updated description of flush out to indicate that it cannot expose targets that are already exposed. The ability has not changed. Okay, so basically no stacking of exposes.
That makes sense.
Those 3 characters.
That means nihilist leads are going to be happy.
Yes.
Big time.
So the next one is First Order Stormtrooper's final ability text of Return Fire now correctly indicates that the ability has a 50% chance to assist. The ability has not changed.
Okay.
Rewording again. Ahsoka Tano's protective maneuver attack no longer proc the healing and animation on allied characters when the target has less than 50% health. So this didn't change. It just we no longer get the animation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Light side hard 9D. Light side hard 9D description mentions Count Dooku instead of General Grievous. Okay. I guess it mentions the wrong character. And then now Kanan Jonas's basic ability, Disarming Strike, now has the correct upgrade description from ability levels 5 to 8.
Okay.
And then we already talked about what's ahead.
An ambitious, ruthless proponent of military power sees a change.
Correct.
I like ambitious people.
Crush the rebel scum.
So that was all of our
bugs.
That was all of our bugs. That's a lot of bugs, man.
Yeah. It's interesting that we had that many bugs in game, and I didn't even realize we had over half of them. I'm like, I didn't know that was a bug.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of go, what else is not working correctly?
Probably more things.
Yeah, anything that was not on that list, any of you guys can think of that, besides the one Smithy mentioned about Mace's ship hitting a little bit harder, that you didn't see on this that you maybe think is a bug that needs to be looked at? Loki, Nuke, and anybody?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's stuff out there that there's still bug.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, they did. I mean, hats off to them. For doing it. But yeah, I'm sure there's more. I just can't think of any more.
Okay.
At the moment.
All right. So that's the bugs, Grande. What's next on the agenda, sir?
That's all of our agenda. Now it's questions, but apparently I can't watch YouTube and be on a Hangout on my phone at the same time.
Okay.
I just tried.
Let me go to our channel and I'll pull up the questions then. That's not a problem. All right. Let's get to some questions. Question time. All right. Let's see here. First question, if I can find it. Finn, have you been sending me the damn questions?
He has not been sending them to me. And they're not in our chat.
He's been collecting them, he said.
Yeah, I'm looking.
He can just blow them up in RSG chat now. If he just wants to post them all, I can read them and to the group.
Uh-huh.
I just can't watch the chat.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was collecting them. I don't see any. I'm looking at RSG.
We answered some of them right as we went along.
Yeah, we did.
It may be that we've answered the majority of the questions. Here you go. He's posting them now. So, whoa, a lot of questions.
Holy,
here we go.
For holy in the maholy.
So Silver Shark said red or verde salsa for the enchiladas. It was red salsa. It was red sauce on the enchiladas. Stream question from good old Maurice. When Ranger J's 2 liter is filled, is that the end of the stream?
Yes.
Captain Blackbeard, how pissed do you have to be if the new tune is C-3PO?
I already answered that question. I will have great vengeance and furious anger in my heart.
So then Cam Mitch says, I run Rex, Lead, Darth Nihilus, GK, and Chase. I have a full Zeta. And I was thinking about putting it on Darth Nihilus Unique for health down. What do you think about that Zeta? Or should I save it for Kylo?
I think you just
I
save
would
it.
say save it for the 25th, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got a really good, solid team there. Stick with it. Just wait and see who the
I don't
character is
think
going to
Darth
be.
Nihilus unique Zeta is going to make the difference between you winning or losing a match.
No, I don't either. So I
Yeah,
would
you
just.
got-
Anybody in the chat disagree?
I mean, you got Baze with he's going to be doing slow, his speed
Speed
down.
down.
So on his retribution and all that, I mean, that's plenty of debuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Nihilus. Well, sometimes Baze dies, and it helps him to get off like another annihilate in the battle, and so it does help you a little bit, but it's definitely not a priority Zeta.
Mm-mm.
And we already kind of mentioned that you probably should be saving your Zeta just for a little bit longer to see what's coming up down the pipeline.
Good old Maurice's question about Poe and speed and Nihilus, we kind of already answered. Octavius Connections asked the question. I recently just spent my first $20 in the game, and it was on Shore Trooper. Since he is an auto taunter, was this a good buy?
I think so.
This was definitely not the worst buy you could have done.
No.
And if you need an auto taunter, it's a great way to get an auto taunter.
Yeah, I mean, Shore Trooper's a great character, especially if you're running an Empire lineup. He does so much, and I mean, he taunts, he does his crit immunity, he heals. I mean, he's a solid piece to any lineup. There's no. That's a pretty darn good investment. So I would not be any way poo-pooing that investment at all. Anybody else have any thoughts on Shore Trooper?
I've been using Shore Trooper in my Sith team for the past few days just for fun and trying it out because there's a lot of Kenobi and Baze bouncing taunts, and I wanted to try if you could do a Shore Trooper too, and this is good. So yeah, he's definitely a great character. Pre-taunters are really strong, and if you just started the game, you have a big advantage over other players that don't have one right now.
Yeah, you do.
Martin Waterman has a question. I'm currently running Wigs in Arena, but I'm thinking about something else. What would be a good team to run?
Who's he running?
He's currently running Chirrut and Baze and Wigs. So he only gave us 4 characters. I'm sure there's a 5th, but he was thinking about running something else. What should he be working on?
Well, I mean,
he could be working on anything.
Yeah.
Sith, Empire. I mean, there's so many things you could run. You could work on. I would probably say a Sith Empire team might not be a bad choice. I think that we all got R2. Maybe you should start working on your R2. I think that there's a lot of things you could be working on.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on what you kind of already got started.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I mentioned. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. If we have more on that question, let's do it.
Well, I just think that, a lot of... Well, yeah, I'm getting a lot of questions. I'm sure you get this, too, from new players. Where should I go? Who should I farm? That kind of thing. And we always direct you. But, once you start on a path, stay focused on it, right? The thing we notice, even from some older players, Crazy was a good example. She's been playing a long time, but she was kind of all over the place, right? She had all these different characters that she would work on, and then she gets someone would say something to her, and then she'd stop and then go to another character, and then she would stop and go to another character, and she didn't really have, I always tell everybody you want 30 tunes, 5 teams that you can do, Rebels, Empire, you want this for the credit heist and down the line. That's really where you need to focus on. PvPs and raids are your priority, because that's where you're going to get gear, you're going to get credits, you're going to get crystals, that kind of thing. So focus on your PvP team first, but then you need to start working on, synergy teams, Rebels team, right?
Yeah.
An Empire team. You need bounty hunters so you can do the credit heist and get the droid training event, and the more teams you have too, the easier GW will be. Someone's asked me how do I do GW every day. I'm like, I clear it, with no problems really, because I've got like 4 or 5 teams that are solid.
You're like, oh damn, I lost one character that GW.
Yeah.
Oh damn, I shouldn't have left my droid team in on that one. I got wiped. That's like a big bummer for me on a GW day.
Yeah, I don't worry about if a team. I mean, I'll go into Node 12 and sacrifice the team sometimes. Like, well, I'll just kill this one character and then I'll send in my big hitters and then I'll win. So having more diversity with characters that are geared with energy really will help you in the long term with a lot of things. So that's one thing I'm going to stress over and over again is keep your focus on what you're doing. Don't get distracted and go somewhere else, because you want those characters starred, you want them geared, and you want them modded.
Here's kind of a follow-up question.
What's that?
On Lobot. Unless you're working on Lobot.
Wrong.
I've done that before. It's not a good trust. So Sauercry asks a really good question here.
Sure.
Asks, should I be using my crystals to buy fully crafted gear or shore trooper shards from shipment? Which is a better investment? Buy the gear. Shore trooper is not you don't need them for heroic raids. So shore trooper is not necessary there. But full crafted gear can get you a character that does need to get to gear 11 to be viable. Or needs to get to gear 10 to be viable. Nihilus, R2, Chirrut, and Baze probably need to be gear 9, gear 10, gear 11 for your arena or for the raids to be able to make that work. So I would definitely say crafted gear over shore trooper shards.
I agree.
Jonas Mori says, why isn't Nihilus taking over more in the Rex with the Rex lead so prominent? So I would like for maybe Nukin and Sir Loki to answer this. I think you guys run a Nihilus lead, or have in the past. So what are your guys' thoughts on why Nihilus is not?
Well, Smithy, are you running a Nihilus lead? I don't think you said you were, right? He's on your team?
No, I don't run. I've played with a Nihilus lead. I made a video versus a Rex over a week ago, showing how you can dominate Rex. You can dominate us all with it. It's just on defense. Teams again, because it hasn't got a high damage output. The issue again, how the AI controls them. You really need to work with that team to kind of go after one character, especially if you're Chirrut and Baze. You need to really nog in head. Where the AI doesn't use that, the AI will decide to attack Chirrut to taunt Baze, and then attack Baze, and then it will move back to Chirrut. And that's what. And then taunt. That's pretty much what happens, and then Baze will taunt again, then they'll go back to Chirrut, and it'll just be like a repeated cycle. That's the AI all over. That's why the AI don't work. It's not about the teams in the arena, it's just really the AI and how they control them.
It's like an auto taunter on purpose. Let me hit Chirrut, because he got back up to full health, but he has the lowest total health pool. Oh, Baze taunted. Oh, let me go over to Baze. Oh, wait, Baze didn't have a taunt anymore. Let me go back to Chirrut. Oh, my God. That's so dumb.
That's pretty much in a nutshell what the AI does.
Oh, God.
It's silly. I've seen it, right? In videos, there's other YouTubers that have posted it and said, this is the meta team, but I've just dominated this team. But the AI, when their character or something was really low health, the AI's just literally ignored it. And just gone to some other character. They're in red health, and they've just decided to, you know what? We're not going to kill that character.
Yeah, so we're going to wait for our AOE. We're going to wait for our AOE to kill that guy.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's just it just makes too many mistakes, and mistakes in these kind of battles should be costly, and the AI just makes them all over. I don't know who programmed the AI, but it's well behind the times. It's kind of like an Atari, it just thinks one thing, and that's just to splash damage as much as possible. It's like it's doing a little painting, and it's like to see how many. If you watch the AI and watch their movements, a lot of the time they'll decide to attack one character, and you're like, oh, he's nearly dead. Then all of a sudden they'll just change to another character, and you're like, it's all right, I've got time to heal him.
I've seen that before. I'm like, my Nihilus is in red health. And now you decided to go over and attack Emperor Palpatine? Thanks, I appreciate it.
That's why AoE teams work the best. If you have a look at the AoE teams, if we have a look, you've got your kind of Biggs, Wedge, Lando. Those rebels. Why did they work so well? Because the AI just had to kind of spam their one special. Yeah, that was it. Their one special. That was it. When you give the AI multiple choice, it's I don't know what to press, and I don't know what to do. Then if you have a look at all the other metas, when we're talking the speed meta, Poe. You know, it was just so simple for the AI. Now you have a look at the Maul meta. Most of the Sith do an AOE.
Yeah.
You know, there's some that don't, but most of them, you can't go wrong with that. It's going to be the AOE from Palpatine. It's going to be the AOE from Maul. It's going to be the AOE from Nihilus. It can't really do anything wrong. But at the same time, when it comes to characters like Savage that is broken and other elements to it, and when you start putting the Phoenix Squad on defense, wow, it just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
No, but what about on offense? You know, Loki and Nuke, and you guys run Nihilus-led teams. How what are your thoughts?
Yes, Loki, you want to take it first, and I'll finish it up.
You can go first. I don't mind.
Okay.
Such gentlemen.
Nihilus is good on offense for sure. I think part of the reasons that we didn't touch on is that Nihilus just became free to play, and people may not have the shard shop currency to start them up all the way. We just had Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper enter the Cantina, and they're on the largest, like the 16 energy nodes that take the longest to farm.
Mm-hmm.
So people are working on that. At the same time, they put them both on the Cantina nodes, which is an issue because people still don't have the offense mods to run on the Nihilus team. So now you have an even larger bottleneck because you have these Nihilus players that are like, do I farm offense mods for my Nihilus team, or do I try to just take the conservative route, which is going to end up improving my team anyway and start up my Sith Trooper and my Sith Assassin? So this team is still going to be strong, but it's going to take a while to fully mature, and it requires more Zetas as well. People could have just slapped a Zeta on Darth Maul, and suddenly they're in the Maul meta. You could have Zeta Savage on that team, but it wasn't necessary. You kind of do need Zeta Savage on the Nihilus team, and I think these are parts of the reasons why you don't see them really flourishing just yet. But in a few months, when people have more gear and they have more stars, and maybe they have an offense mod set or two, you might start seeing a little bit more Nihilus leads out there.
Yeah, I agree with everything Nukin said. The only thing I will add is the mods itself. So if you do decide to do a Darth Nihilus lead, the issue you're going to run into is the mods, because when I decided to run it, I was looking at my mods and I go, I have a lot of crit damage sets, I have a lot of critical chance triangles, and you just can't use those anymore. So, keep that in mind if you're going to switch over to a Nihilus-led team. And granted, it's a great counter to Rex, especially if you run a Sith Trooper or a Sith Assassin, because those two
make a big difference.
Those guys can go through protection, so you can one-shot Rex. You can almost one-shot Chirrut. Sith Trooper's going to have the Retribution and the Taunt, and he's going to have Health Steal, so he's going to be really hard to kill. And then the other two, you can, you can put in a Zeta Savage. You can try Maul, Dooku. You could try Darth Sidious, whoever. But it's a really fun team. But again, like what Nukin said, all the characters that are like the core. I think the 3 is going to be Nihilus lead with the Trooper and the Sith Assassin for sure. You got to run those 3. And then the other 2 you can substitute in whoever, Savage or whoever you want. But they're fairly new characters. So, with maybe Zeta Maul going away, it's another alternative for the Zeta Maul player to continue using the Sith, and then you're going to use Nihilus instead.
Okay.
Okay, so Steve V, how come Ben feels like he can use a lightsaber? Because he put one in because he was in episode 7 with a lightsaber.
Because Maz Kanata gave him a lightsaber, said he used this, the only weapon he had at the time. So, I mean...
That's right. He's like, is this thing on? Is this thing on? Yeah, it is.
Traitor!
Still got his ass kicked though by both Kylo and that Stormtrooper.
He doesn't know how to use a lightsaber. I mean, he held for a little bit, but I mean, he was going to get wrecked.
He doesn't know how to use them. He was trained.
Trained.
They were all trained
to use a lightsaber.
To use melee weapon.
Well, melee weapon, yeah, but lightsaber's a total different type of melee
I don't
weapon.
know if they were trained to use lightsabers.
I think they were trained to
Not
fight
lightsabers,
against,
but they were trained
yeah,
to use
melee
weapons.
weapons. But I mean, a lightsaber is a total different thing. You know, I mean, it takes a long time to learn how to use lightsaber because it's such a unique weapon where the bottom is so heavy and there's just light coming out the end of it. It's not like using a sword that's counterbalanced. I mean, that's why it takes a long time to learn how to use a damn lightsaber. So I think he did fine. He still got his ass kicked, but you know.
So, Lord Theos asked the questions. I've been noticing that 5 ship is used in most top tier fleets. How essential is 5 ship? I'm running rank 1 fleet since I entered fleet 2 months ago. Should I farm 5s? Most big players, top tier fleet players have him. So things that are good about 5s: a huge amount of HP. Some other good things about 5s is AOE target lock. And then the other thing that's nice about 5s is when the character is target locked, you can dispel on basic. The bad things about 5s. Bad things about 5s are when he hits a character, he gives them 15% turn meter.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically giving turn meter away. And he's not incredibly fast. And
he is fast. 5s is. Yeah, he's got like 170, 180 speed. He's pretty fast. 5s is.
Go back and look back at the thing. But I think probably the turn meter then is probably the biggest reason why I would be like, I don't know about using 5s.
I'm not a big 5s fan.
I mean, I use him and he's in my starting lineup. And he's mostly in there. He's mostly in there because he's got this huge hit pool, and then whenever you use Scimitar off the bench, you can put Retribution on 5s.
Yeah,
that's probably the biggest reason why I use 5s.
Works great with Mace as well.
Yeah, he does.
He works very good with Mace because when you put a taunt on him with Mace, then he also gains back a little bit of protection, I think, or health. I can't remember.
I'll see how fast 5s is now.
I'm looking at it right now. 183. Yeah. 183. So he is relatively fast. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 5s is an okay character as just a regular character to have. Slow on basic. He's got a call and assist. He's great in a clone team for phase 4 of the heroic AAT. And you can make him taunt under General Kenobi. I haven't maxed out 5s with everything except for a Zeta on his unique. And I used that character in PvP for quite some time in previous metas.
Yeah.
Of course. But, so yeah, I would say go for it. Get 5s. Get him in the free-to-play areas first,
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do. Next question is, let's see, from Theos again. The rumors in the next game mode is Guild v Guild kind of game mode. Have you heard anything about this? I've talked with several other big players and Guild and division leaders who predict as much Guild v Guild, and how would that work? So we know how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask Sir Loki. Sir Loki, what do you think about the next big game mode and what it's going to be like, and is it going to be Guild v Guild?
Well, they mentioned it would be a mode where we could empty out our rosters, right? So,
right.
If it was up to me, or my vision of the whole thing would be, if you had an event kind of like, just imagine the mod challenges, right? So if you had a ladder event where it was Guild versus Guild, and you had to complete certain challenges to advance to the next tier of the ladder, and at the very top, then you have some exclusive content or character or something, right? But I could imagine doing something like that. It wouldn't be like a Guild versus Guild. It's just P versus P. Like an arena. I think that's too. I think it'd be too easy. But to do something where, and I've seen this in other mobile games as well, is you team up with your guild against another guild, and you do, imagine the mod challenges. So you have the first one, which is like, what's the health challenges? The Jedi only, right? So you have an event. You have the bottom of the ladder, Jedi only, right? And whoever finishes it first goes to the next one. Then it's like first order only. then it's like resistance only. Then it's like, you know, something like that, and you're racing up a ladder. So I'd love to see something like that. I mean, you could totally empty out your roster and have fun with you know, I mean, Grande, you got a big roster like me, so I mean, I'd love to do that, you know, and see what we can do. And then also, you know, if you can open up communication lines with that was the one thing I missed about tournaments, was I met a lot of good people on that. I met some guild mates now, you know. I mean, if I didn't have tournaments, if we didn't have tournaments, then I wouldn't be communicating with all these cool people. So if they can open it up like that and have a ladder event where we're actually emptying out the whole roster based on faction or type of character or whatever, I'm all for it. So that's all my speculation. That's what I think they might do, because it's in the game already. I don't think they have to re-engineer anything or, you know, think of anything new. So
Nukin, I know you got to run here in a little bit, but what are your thoughts on the new game mode? And then if you just got to bust out, just bust out whenever you got to leave. No big deal.
Okay. Yeah, I got the Galactic War report in like 10 minutes, I think. I think that they're not going to do this, but something that I think would be really cool is if they had something similar to that, where there's an activity, there's an event, and that you're trying to be able to complete it, and you have your players in your guild try to complete it, and it's hard, and the more players that compete it, you get posted on like a leaderboard of some kind, and it's actually a difficult thing to do. I don't think that they're going to do that. I think they're leaning towards more battle-oriented, you know, combats or what have you. I would love to be able to compete and try to do like those type of things. They did it in other games. Like a mobile game called Dungeon Boss. They've done it in Diablo, which is a computer game that's really fun to play. And I know Ranger plays Diablo 3 right now.
We stream it.
Yeah, and you stream it, and it's cool. So I would love to see that in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it, or if they are going to do it, like how they would handle the rewards and all that in the competition. But I think that would be really fun to have here in the game.
All right. Let's do 2 more questions, Grande.
All right. 2 more questions. Do you guys think that R2's number crunch Zeta can make a lot of old meta characters usable again, like Wedge and Lando, for example, with a cleanse on a basic and also reduce the need for reps? Smithy D, what do you think?
Did we lose Smithy?
No, yeah, I was just reading the chat online. I need attention.
So do you think that number crunch, R2's Zeta ability, can make a lot of older meta characters viable again, like Wedge and Lando, with a cleanse on basic and also a reduction of the need for reps?
It can to a degree. It's still got the big problem of crit immunity from General Kenobi, and that's probably going to still be the biggest issue. And that will be the wall that you face, and unless they get a Zeta where they can all of a sudden kind of like like bypass it, which probably isn't going to happen.
Someone check your mic. We're echoing.
But I'd probably say no. I'd say Wedge and Biggs is a possibility, as long as you've got kind of like Chase with them as well. You're still going to need to have Chase.
All right. And last question.
Last question. This is from Steve V. He says, do you guys think that this game is going strong, or is interest dropping off? I want to answer with my answer first, and then we'll pass it around the horn real quick. I think that there is still a bunch of room for interest in this game. We have at least 1 or 2 more movies coming, so I would give this game at least another 2 years worth of content coming out. So I definitely don't think that we've potentially even reached the middle of this game. Smithy D, what do you think about middle end, if interest is dropping off, or if we have more still yet to come?
Much more to come. As long as the game's making money and people are playing it, there's a bunch of Star Wars movies that are gonna like boost, like morale. There's gonna be more Star Wars fans. You got to think of there's going to be a new generation. There's still lots and lots of people out there that never watched the prequels, but they went and watched Force Awakens and Rogue One. So there is a lot that started to hate Star Wars because of the prequels, but now are starting to get back into it. Mobile gaming's just going to grow. It's kind of like if you watch any kind of like future kind of like movie and they've got the telephone in their hand, it's the next thing where everybody's going to be gaming on the move. So as that keeps getting bigger and bigger, so will this game. And then when people start seeing it, because it's like one of the top kind of like trending apps in the store, and if it's got the Star Wars name next to it, it's got Jedi Luke. They're going to be surprised Jedi Luke's not in the game, but hopefully they can bypass that and start playing. The game's a great game for the free-to-play as well. There's not many games out there that will let you play the game without having to keep spending money. The game's a grind, but that's why it is. It's supposed to be like that. And, so you spend. If you don't spend, it's always going to be a grind for everybody. The only ones that are probably going to get bored and may leave would be the ones that have unlocked everything. And that's pretty much going to be your kind of like Krakens or big whales, where they're going to feel that they're not getting the content because they're not feeling they can max out the characters straight away, or do anything with those characters that they've maxed out. They may be the guys, but as one whale dies, another one will rise. But I guess that's like whales will move game to game, and that is something that they generally do. It isn't going to be probably the first game where they've kind of like brought all the roster. There is a kind of a limit to them until they get bored. They need to have lots and lots of stuff coming in, or they're going to get bored because their lifestyle's fast. It's on the move. That's why they possibly spend so much, because they want everything now and they want to get it done. And that's their lifestyle. When things slow down for them is when they kind of like move games or don't even do the arena. I know so many whales that don't even participate in their arena anymore. They put 0 on the AAT just because they've done everything they've done for now. What's that like, Grande? Anyway, I heard you've got all the characters 7 stars.
I do not. I do not have every character.
Well,
7 stars. I still have plenty. And people who are in my guild and realize that I have not, that I don't hit the highest score in the heroic AAT, they know that that's definitely a goal of mine. When my poor Princess Zodi team does like 200K. I realize the mods are wrong, and I have to go back and redo it. I definitely have a lot still left to work on in the game. Definitely. So, Nukin, before you get the run, real quick, middle end, interest waning, interest coming. What do you see on this game?
Yeah, there's always going to be players coming in and coming out, and some of those players are going to be whales, and then some of those players are going to be middle-tiered players, and some of them are going to be players that just have played it for a month and it wasn't for them. I think this game has at least 2 years, if not more, time into it. We already highlighted that there's going to be movies coming out, like The Last Jedi. They have these standalone flicks that they're going to be pumping out. I think one of them is going to be with Harrison Ford's character Han Solo, and the other one was like a Kenobi. I think that was speculated, though. But yeah, there's going to be more films, and when there's more films, there's more events, and people get excited. And when you look at the sales at Google Play and iTunes over the May 4th weekend, people are still pumping in money into the game. So I think the game is still much more alive than it is dying. And anyone that is trying to say that is just being a Debbie Downer. Start up a new account. Sometimes people do that for fun. You'll find whales on these new shards, and one day they're going to be like the next Grande whale or Skystack or whatever, and they just need a few more months to mature and grow. So yeah, I think the game is very much alive, and it's got at least 2, if not maybe 3 or more years, left in it for sure.
All right, so before you have to leave, Nukin, go ahead and tell the folks where they can check you out at, your YouTube channel, the podcast, everything.
Okay, sure. So you can find me on YouTube. My channel is Nukin from Republic. I pump out a lot. I'm starting to pump out a lot more videos.
Yes, I know.
And starting to talking more in the videos because people have been requesting that. And you can find me also on the SWGOH In-Depth podcast. It's on iTunes and on Google Play, and it's also on our website. And you can also, if you listen to the Galactic War Report, recording an episode in literally 10 minutes with those guys. They're really cool. that is another podcast, SWGOH podcast. So you can check me out on their next episode. So thanks for having me, guys. I kind of popped in the middle there, but I'm glad that I did. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we always are glad to have you aboard. So I think that's all the questions, right, Grande? Oh yeah, I said last question, right?
Yeah, we said last question. I mean, we got a ton more, but we could go on forever.
Yeah, we'll get your questions in Discord because, well, we are going to be heading to the Discord. So if you have questions, that'll be your chance to ask them if we didn't cover them. So let's end the stream. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like the video. We are trying to get more subscribers and more thumbs up. It always helps the channel out greatly, and we appreciate everybody that not only subscribes but likes the video. And if you subscribe, then you get to see when the new content's coming out. We've got our Facebook, Twitter. You can check out our merchandise, and you can check out our actual webpage. They usually post a lot of good stuff on there. And also, big announcement, we will be running the Jedi Academy this Saturday, hopefully. Relaunching it on this channel. So we were going to have that starting again. It'll be at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's the plan for right now, with your cast of characters that you've come to grow and love. So be prepared for that. A little bit of hiatus, but we got everything coordinated and taken care of, and we are good to go now. So that's it for us. Let's go around the horn and let everybody pimp their stuff. Smithy, where can folks check you out? You've been putting out some good stuff, man. Where can they check it out at?
Just over at my channel, Smithy D. Or follow me on Twitter, the Smithy D. I've got his Dooku Zeta video coming out tomorrow, like a full review. But yeah, it was pretty fun to make, and I'm also making a top 5 leadership video for the arena. Going to take in everything that's kind of happened recently and make a May edition.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty decent.
Very nice. And Sir Loki.
Thanks for having me on, as always, guys. And you can find me on YouTube. It's you can click on my name in the chat, or it's my name. It's SIRLOKI. So just do a lot of arena videos, Nihilist lead, other uncommon leads, but it's against the current meta. So if you want to see how those teams perform, check them out. And then still working on Phase 3. So I'm shooting for 4 million plus damage now is going to be my next target. So
nice.
Other than that, just helping out more guilds beat the heroic tank. And again, thanks for having me on. And it was fun.
That's right. And if people don't know too, he builds lightsabers, and you can check that out on his channels as well. All right, so we are going to end the stream. And if you want, you can check us out. Somebody is echoing. I think it's you, Grande.
Sorry.
You're in your car, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're running from the government.
stealing government cellular service now.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. But yeah, if come join us in our Discord. That's linked below in the description, and we will answer questions of Star Wars Galaxy, which we are heading to right now. So on behalf of myself, Grande, Sir Loki, Smithy D, Finadoodle, who does a great job of running the chat, Dr. Finn Medicine Woman. We also want to thank Nukin for coming on. Please check out that podcast. They do great work over there. Give them the support that they need to make their channels great. But yeah, come join us in the Discord, and we are going to be taking questions and answering questions, and just come join us in the after party. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. We really appreciate all your support. Thank you to everybody that donated tonight, and we will check you out on Saturday. Keep your fingers crossed with Jedi Academy. So until then, thanks for stopping by.